Joining us today to answer some questions we have on the show, Attorney Cristina Conci, Assistant to Counsel at the International Criminal Court. Magandang umaga sa inyo, Attorney.
Magandang umaga, Gretchen.
Una-una, sinabi ni Vice Presidente in a statement daw that her family received credible information from hospital sources that the former president had to be subjected to lab tests after being found unconscious on the floor of his room. Ano po ang inyong masasabi at ang inyong nakalap na impormasyon tungkol dito?
Well, first, we are concerned if this is a situation of the former president. Remember that the victims have so much at stake here. He has to be alive for trial. Pero at the same time, nalilito kami dun sa mga statements na naman, even within their camp, there are inconsistencies. One, as to the facts, Harry Roque yesterday told in an interview said that hindi naman daw na unconscious, natumba lang. And second problem is they're saying that this information comes from hospital sources or health professionals or people involved in the care of Duterte. We're concerned about that because the Dutch law looks very seriously on medical confidentiality and patient autonomy. Kumbaga, hindi dapat basta-basta na di-disclose yung ganitong impormasyon sa third parties. At kung ano man, nandyan ang korte para pagreportan ng accurate information.
Actually, medyo confused nga rin po ako kasi parang naalala ko, the Vice President said hindi na siya pinayagan to reveal the health condition of her father. And then we see a string of reports about his health. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, what do you make of all of this? Pati na rin yung issue dun sa ingrown toenail na nagkaroon kayo ng sagutan ni Vice Presidente.
May suggestion lang naman. Patungkol dyan nga, medyo parang kailangang mag-ingat dahil maraming pwedeng mangyari in reaction to statements made so carelessly. And then one thing that we have to point out is that, is this propaganda? May isip mo ng ganun Bakit parang sunod-sunod sila na nagpapanik? At parang kailangan ganito, kailangan ganyan. And now you have Senator Bongo inserting himself into the picture. Nung pinapanood ko yung video niya, sana ang emphasis niya is that the Duterte gets to see a doctor soon as possible. Hindi yung makasama siya sa check-up. Kaya ako parang balik tayo sa focus. Hindi ikaw ang bida ngayon. Pero in any case, if this is propaganda, which I think their camp has had an issue with over the weekend, so if this is propaganda, just be warned that this will not affect the decision of the court because they will base it on facts. Kaya, kumbaga, imbis na sa publiko magrarara, sa korte po, banggitin kung ano ang hiling. Kaya, alam ko, out of the picture tayo, really, in all these proceedings, redacted di ba, yung patungkol dun sa medical situation niya. And that is with good reason. Para walang speculation sa kung anong nangyayari. Hindi yung ang dami nating nakikitang picture, di umano ni Duterte while in detention. Kakagulat yon. So that kind of disinformation is troubling. And I note that over the weekend, ito na, merong nagkagulo tungkol dun sa interim release. So sa kampo nila, na balita, na-granted na yung interim release. Saan pala galing to? Sa filing ni attorney, ni Nicholas Kaufman, na the Philippine government does not oppose or poses no opposition to the interim release of the president. Na kinontest naman nung source of the information. Ang kino-quote niya kasi si Claire Castro, na spokesperson, na sabi, parang hindi ganyan yung tono ng statement ko. Nung binasa nga namin, parang medyo stretch din. Ang sabi niya lang, kung babigyan ng interim release, edi okay, go. Pero hindi niya sinabing, sige, bigyan niyo po ng interim release. There's a whole ocean of difference between those two statements.
Sinabi nga ni Attorney Claire Castro, Attorney Kaufman appears to have mastered the art of twisting some facts. But how do you understand all of these developments in relation to that request for an interim release? Yan po ba ay, maybe if kung they have proven somehow that there's merit in the health conditions of the former president, mas malaki po ba yung tsansa na mag-grant yan?
Well, could be, baka yun yung argument nila. Pero, and ipapasok ko na rin yung konsepto ng competency. So, sinasabi kasi nila na not fit to stand trial. Pero ito, the basis is intellectual or mental of that request. So, technically, ang request nila is to adjourn the entire proceedings. Huwag na nating ituloy ito at all kasi not fit to stand trial. We are in the process of determining. Yung ICC, I'm pretty sure, will be appointing experts to aid them in the decision as to this adjournment request, yung fitness to stand trial issue. But at the same time, may bearing dun sa interim release. Sa interim release, mukhang ang basis naman is physical health. Matanda na, hindi na kayang ganito, kailangan ng 24-hour caregiver. Kaya parang they really need to, I would suppose, paint the picture of Duterte as being so helpless, so, kumbaga, health, immunocompromised and everything, para lang maklinch yung two issues. The interim release and then mapanalo yung fitness to stand, yung competency issue, which I don't think will work if this is all propaganda. It will not work and it could even backfire sa ICC kasi they will only base their decisions on information that is verified. Facts dapat. Hindi yung sabi-sabi. And this, kung sakaling mali ito this will worsen the situation. Kung sakaling tama naman, well, this will also worsen the situation because this exposes gaps in the ICC's medical facility protocols. Hindi nyo sinabihan yung kapamilya, hindi nyo sinabihan yung abogado nung napunta sa ospital. Maybe for some minor issue, tipong kunyari, nadulas, and kumbaga normal, quote-unquote, di posibleng hindi pa ipaabot, pero yung napunta sa ospital, that is very serious. Kaya yung ICC talaga ang, kumbaga, kailangang gumalaw dito. Problem lang, there are some issues which we are not part of, which the public will never be part of because they're private.
Yun nga yung tatanong ko sana
kung sa totoo lang, private na yon.
Yung nga itatanong ko sana kasi kung ano bang proseso rito kasi nga hindi nga daw na-inform yung kanilang pamilya. How exactly does the ICC handle medical emergencies? Ano yun, dapat every step pa yan may reporting to the family or the relative?
Well, as I understand it, no, there is no parang everyday reporting. O, itong nangyari. Uy, nahulog. Uy, natalisod. But if there are serious issues and the patient, the detainee, has to be taken to a hospital, then the next of kin should be messaged. Pero ito yun In Dutch law, medical confidentiality is sacred. Yung pasyente lang ang may alam. Yung pasyente ang may call kung gusto niyang ipaalam kung kanino man. Yung pasyente ang magsasabi kung sinong doktor ang gusto niyang kausapin. And so forth. Patient autonomy is a real thing dito. Hindi katulad sa atin na sino ka, kapamilya, kapatid, pinsan, o sige, ganito ang nangyari. Baka may ganun, ano? Dito, very strict sila. And everything boils down to the patient. Whatever he or she wants will be followed. Kaya, I would even say, kung hindi sila pinabutan, baka ayaw nung pasyente. Or kung ano man. Unless it is serious. Yung pagiging serious naman, again, balik tayo dun sa ano ba talaga yung competency ni Duterte. If they're saying that he is no longer competent, not only to stand trial, but to make decisions for himself, then he should be able to appoint parang proxy or next of kin who will be his medical emergency contact.
Ang isa pa nga sa mga nireklamo ng Vice Presidente ay itong welfare check na ginawa ng Philippine Embassy officials kay dating Presidente. And she said, to deprive an elderly man abducted, denied his rights under Philippine law, and subjected to surveillance, disguised as welfare checks of basic dignity and proper care is not justice. This is cruelty. Pero the ICC said also that they don't act without approval of the person in detention. Is it possible that the president actually requested or approved that visit?
Yes, and that's the rule. I don't see the ICC bending their own rules na surreptitiously getting in an unwelcome visitor. Lalo na kung, depende pa yung sa tono, no? If there was a medical professional who was there, iniisip ko, sinong mag-a-assess? How can it be surveillance if it was just a visit na nagdala lang ng prutas o kung ano man? So ako, ang undertones pa nga, merong medical professional na tinitingnan, sinisipat-sipat, and coming up with his or her own opinion as to the health of Duterte. Otherwise, it will just be, kumbaga factual. Kaya pa rin naman pong tumayo, kaya pa rin namang maglakad. So, as to this, I would look at the ICC statements and manual. There really are provisions for consular visits as a matter of right. So, yung tao, yung detenido, kapangyarihan niya or within his power to request for that or to approve a visit. Kaya hindi ko makita na this happened without his consent.
Okay. How do you think these developments might influence the postponed confirmation of charges hearing against the former president? Meron na pong nilabas na document of charges. Ano pong inaantay po natin? Yun po yung bang desisyon dun sa request for an indefinite adjournment?
Yes. Yung adjournment request ang pinakamalaking balakid, so to speak, to the schedule. Until we can finally say he's fit to stand trial, hindi marereset yan. Kasi sa ICC, bawal ang absent in spirit or in person. So kailangan fit to stand trial ka. And we cannot proceed without him. Although, may isang judge, si Judge Flores, sabi niya, nalito ba tayo na ang confirmation of charges hearing is the pre-trial stage? Trial pa kailangan yung fitness to stand trial. So maybe we can proceed with confirmation of charges. Oo, kasi pag-uusap, arguments lang to eh. Paano ba? In the Philippines, we call it arraignment, di ba? Yung babasahan ng sakdal. Hindi pa nga ito yun eh. Hindi pa siya magsasabi, guilty or not guilty. That's at trial. This pre-trial stage, pag-uusapan pa lang kung anong charges. The charges are a proposal from the defense. From the prosecution. The defense and the witnesses can weigh in. After that, the judges will decide whether or not to confirm the charges. Kumbaga, hindi pa nga approve. Wala pa yung final charges or sakdal na babasahin. Kaya sabi ni Judge Flores, ay mag-ano na muna tayo, mag-arguments. Kung ba, parang oral arguments. Mag-oral arguments na tayo para malinaw anong charges. Saka na lang natin pag-usapan yung factual issue. Kasi ito legal issue eh. Sa trial, let's go to the factual issue of whether or not he's fit to stand trial. So we're waiting for the schedule. Pero mukhang ito yung pinakabalakid.
Yung fitness to stand trial, gusto ko po maintindihan yun. Ano? Sabi niyo, bawal absent, in spirit, dapat in person. Kung nandun po si dating Pangulong Duterte, kung na-prove po nila na may, let's say, mental deterioration, may dementia, ano pong, hindi na po talaga pwede magtuloy. Have you seen jurisprudence on this?
Yes, the case will be archived.
Okay.
But not indefinitely, Kasi they said, ito nga yung hirap kasi if you go to a doctor, i-certify mo nga ako fit to stand trial. Parang, if out of nowhere and without the context of a hearing, fitness to stand trial is technically both a medical construct and a legal construct. Sa totoo, in the end, it's the judges who will decide. Is this person fit to stand trial? Kaya,
Kailangan siya ay makasagot sa mga paratang sa kanya.
correct. At ang issue kasi
okay.
dyan, hindi siya tipong medical na, ay pipe, ay bingi, ay
Oo.
ganito. Hindi eh, because they can do sign language. And in one case, sabi ng court, yes, you're competent to stand trial because nag-sign language siya na hindi ako guilty. And so, that decision will be both a medical and a legal issue. At importante para sa ICC kasi na ang isang tao ay, and this is the parameter of fit to stand trial, naiintindihan, nasusundan, at makakasagot dun sa charges. Kung may sinabing negative sa kanya, kukontrahin niya. So parang two parts, nasusundan at makakasagot.
In which case, the case that was archived, did the person in detention get an interim release or get released?
That's a different matter altogether. Pero yung dun sa archival, sorry, ibalik ko lang din na ang fitness to stand trial is not a static situation. Kumbaga, ngayon, unfit ako to stand trial. Pero pwedeng, and the rules say, after every 120 days, you are checked if you are still fit for trial. Kasi hindi siya, it's a dynamic situation where your fitness could change with the circumstances. And I'm pretty sure the defense will argue, yes, we need to change the circumstances and he has to be released to a home, to a house, hindi detention facility, to, eto na, to alleviate the situation and to make him, kumbaga, para maggumaling siya. Eh di kapag gumaling siya, fit to stand trial na siya.
Okay.
So baka maipit sila lang sa ganong cycle. Although, from what I'm seeing, for fitness to stand trial, they're saying it's his mental health. For interim release, it's his physical health. Na matanda na, kailangan ng caregiver, etc. So, we'll see how they will address these inconsistencies.
I guess sa dulo, no, is a dismissal one of the possible outcomes of these requests?
Yes, of these requests, pwedeng i-deny talaga yan ng ICC. Pero at the same time,
dismissal of the case against the former
the
president.
case. Oh yes.
Posible
Ultimately,
yun.
the dismissal of the case will be based on evidence.
Not
Kaya lang,
on the
tutuloy
fitness
ang
to stand trial. Not on the fitness to stand trial.
Well, for the case to be dismissed, he has to be fit for trial. And then trial must commence.
Pero kung
And
hindi
then
siya fit
he
for
must be
trial,
acquitted.
if hindi siya fit for trial, could he
Archive.
be in detention, in detention na mas matagal na panahon, or pwede rin siyang mag-grant ng interim release?
Pwede ring mag-grant ng interim release. Medyo independent yun eh. Kumbaga, kung unfit to stand trial, then maybe you should be sent to a care home, to a hospital, lalo na kung mental
okay.
issue.
Alright.
Hindi ka kasi acquitted eh. Kapag not fit to stand trial, the case is archived. Precisely, it's archived until the point that you are fit to stand trial, if that is possible.
So it looks like they are gunning for better conditions for the former president, maybe outside The Hague. But we will see to that. Ano pong susunod nating inaantay? Ito nga pong yung desisyon sa indefinite adjournment. Yung sa interim release po, will that do you have any word about that?
Yes, the ICC just issued an order for the states to comment, at yung host supposedly, on this very matter. Remember that this is the second round of interim release request. Nung una, nag-request sila, tapos nirendahan nila sarili nila. Later on, teka, I will renew the request. Kaya parang ang tagal na nating naririnig, pero hindi pa napagpapasyahan. Dati, nakapag-comment na yung mga bansa. Ngayon, pinagko-comment ulit. And the court has already disclosed the name or one country, at least.
Which is?
The Kingdom of the Netherlands. So sabi nila, sige, pag-commentin itong Netherlands kasi ang request ng defense, either daanan siya nung detainee, palabas papunta dun sa isa pang bansa, or mag-host na entirely. Kumbaga, hindi na kayang lumabas pa, hindi na kayang bumiyahe pa eh. Dito na lang, pwede po ba? So, yun yung pinag-comment. The
Okay.
undisclosed third country, so to speak, is still is also being asked for their comment.
Oh, ano pa po yung mga ibang bansa? Kingdom of Netherlands, meron pa po
Yung
kayong
pa lang
nalalaman?
yung name eh.
Ay, isa pa lang.
Oo,
Alright,
hirap
oo.
mag-speculate. At least nakaisa na tayo.
Oh, let's stick to the facts. Okay. Maraming salamat sa iyo for your time this morning and helping us understand the latest developments over at the ICC. We have attorney Christina Conti, Assistant to Counsel at the ICC.
Thank you, Ingat.